Okay, this little short video is going to be about how I go about making another spindle like goes on Adeline's bed. Her bed has 3 out of the 4 spindles. It needs a new one. It needs another one, okay? This is what the original spindle, this is another one of the spindles off the bed. And first I selected a piece of wood that was thick enough and long enough. It's thick enough that it's thicker than the spindle is, and it's long enough to turn all the spindle on the lathe. So the first thing I need to do is to cut a square out of this, that is to say cut a piece that is the same length. First I'm going to raise the blade on the table saw so that it is up above there, and we'll use the thickness to set the reference. Now then, I will rip a piece of this mahogany, deciding on which edge I prefer to rip it on. And to do that, I'll certainly want things to protect my hands, keep my hand in that blade. I will turn on the dust collector to collect the most of the sawdust. Okay, now I have a piece of mahogany that is square and is thicker than the piece that I want to make it into, and longer than the piece. And so the next step will be to take over the lathe, and I'll continue the video there. Okay, what I've done so far is I've taken the square that we cut on the table saw, and I marked the centers on both ends and mounted it up here in the lathe. Now the lathe, when I turn it on, will spin this piece of wood like this, very, very fast. I'll show you. Fast, like that, okay? And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tool, let's see here, like this large gouge, and I'm going to very slowly take just a little bit off of this as it spins around until I cut this down so it is a completely straight, smooth cylinder of solid wood. Once I've done that, then I will cut in a little bit on this side to establish this hard line right under here, and that'll give me my point of reference, and then from there I will turn down this with various smaller tools. I have many different kinds of small they're called gouges, and I'll copy this shape. As I go along, I will use this caliper to keep measuring my model spindle and make sure that I got the dimensions turned down the same over here. And I'll keep marking it with a pencil and cutting a little bit more and marking it and checking it and marking it and checking it. And from time to time, perhaps I'll stop and video just a little bit of that. But right now I'm going to turn it on, let you see what it looks like for me to start turning down this to a cylinder, and then I'll stop the video. See was how little bit I have taken off the corners in that length of time. Now it'll take some little while for me to get this turned down so it's just a straight, smooth cylinder. I think I'll adjust this guide just a little bit to the left so I can get this last little bit here. But anyway, I'm going to turn off the video now and go to work. When I get it down to a cylinder, I'll turn it back on again. Okay, now I have a nice smooth cylinder that is larger than, like that, is larger than the largest part of the spindle, so I can still have plenty of material to cut down into to turn this spindle. Now the next step is I'm going to do is I'm going to establish a point here that I'm going to cut down a little bit for this reference surface, this bottom surface right under here. And for that, I'll need to get myself a pencil, which I should have brought to the, should have brought that pencil over with me when I was, excuse me. Okay, now then. What I'm doing is I'm just putting a pencil mark on there. That's, when I turn it on, now that pencil mark is long enough, I will be able to see it. I'm going to cut just a little bit of that, and then I'm going to turn the camera back off. Now I have an edge that I can see when the my piece is turning, so that I can use that as a reference line to cut all the rest of the curves and shapes in there. Eventually I will turn all this down so it'll only be that diameter right there. But I don't want to do that right now because I want to keep the strength in there, and I want to cut that down as the very last thing to do. Okay, here we go. I've gotten part of it turned. I'm standing behind the camera, of course, operating the camera. I'm going to reach down here and get the model, first of all. And you can see, I'm going to pull the model down there. You can see that I'm coming along. One of the first things I did after I turned the cylinder was I held the model up next to the cylinder, and while the cylinder was turning, I took a pencil and marked every one of the transitions, and you hold the model a little differently here so my hand's not away, because there's only one pencil mark really left, and that's down here at the end. But you can see where I've just started cleaning off between two transition marks, there and there. And the process really is just a matter of using the caliper to measure the diameter and then turning down one stage at a time until I get all the pieces turned down to match the model, the original spindle. Now, as I said before, this whole bottom portion down here is all going to be turned down so that it is the same size as this little piece here at the bottom of the spindle. And I see it's flashing, the battery's about to die, so I better quit right now and go back to turning. And here we go. Looks like the finished parts. See if I can get this thing where it'll focus. Not an absolute perfect match, but by golly, pretty doggone close. You take calipers and check diameters and curves and whatnot. Like I say, not perfect, but pretty doggone close. Certainly, once it's painted and it's on an opposite bedpost, it'll certainly look like it matches.